What's up, Walking Dead friends and family? It is Brian Castrillo here, back with another review. This time it is for The Walking Dead World Beyond season finale, the last light of this two-season show that, honestly, before I start the review, let me just say this. Thank you. Thank you to Scott Gimple, Matt Negretti, Aaliyah Royale, Alexa Mansauer, Hal Cumpson, Nicholas Cantu, Nico Tortorella, Annette Mahendru, Joe Holt, Jelani Aladdin, Julia Ormond, Pollyanna McIntosh, Maximilian Osinski. If I pronounce any of those wrong, I apologize. But um, man, this show is amazing, and this season particularly is one of my favorite seasons in the entire Walking Dead universe. That goes from Fear, The Walking Dead, and of course The Walking Dead World Beyond. Um, what you guys did this season to set up what's coming up next was brilliant. I really enjoyed this. I love the character development. I love the story. I I love you guys were just amazing. So thank you. But let's get right on to it now. Now we start in the beginning, and it's a throwback to season one. It's right before they left, and we see our group here. We got Silas, we got Hope, we got Iris and Elton, and they're getting ready to open that door and go out to the world out there. The world beyond. And this is just kind of a touching moment, but there was one thing that really made me laugh. I love. So Elton goes to Silas, and he's got his big wrench there, and he goes, um, "That's a big wrench," and Silas is like, "Thanks." Definitely some innuendos there, so that was some funny humor that they threw in there. But then he kind of goes over what Felix taught him, and just basically saying that when we see empties, don't engage. The best protection is to kind of stay away from them. Um, and and then they come back to kind of modern day, and they're talking about what opens up when we see them killing empties, and we see how they've developed and how hardened they become, and a lot tougher from when they were in season one, when they were just kids not knowing what was out there, just learning as they go, and now they've got a lot more moxie to them. So our team has definitely come a long way, and they're talking about going to Portland, to to warn the people that are over there. Now we then see Jadis. She's talking to her group about basically Portland is still a go, but to shut down communications, basically jam the signal so that no one can hear them. And her sergeant there was she seemed like she was a little concerned, but about her team not being able to communicate. But Jadis was basically saying this is kind of what we have to do. And then we see, Huck and Dennis kind of going over their strategy. He's still hurt, waiting on antibiotics from Silas and Elton where they went to go get it. And then we're coming up to, and I mean everything's kind of going really kind of fast. We got Huck, not Huck, I'm sorry, but Felix and Dr. Bennett, and they're talking on the road, and all of a sudden the CRM comes up, and we got a shootout scene, and they're talking about kind of going around their strategies, and they're shooting back and forth, and I'll be damned if you didn't tease us again with the water tower death, because they're shooting, and then all of a sudden it switches to Silas's weapon, where he killed that badass weapon. Looks like the walker's head are exploding, but you see him killing a walker, or an empty rather, and then right after that there's a scene of the water tower again. What are you doing? Where are we going to get this water tower death? Is this coming over in The Walking Dead, or are we going to see this somewhere else? But I see what you're doing, and I like it. So eventually our group meets up with Huck and Dennis, and and of course, Silas has his antibiotics to help Dennis heal, and and of course Elton and Hope and Iris are talking about going, um, and Silas says no, I got to stay behind. And can I just say, Hal Cumston, what you have done this season was brilliant. You definitely got a future ahead of you. That was I really enjoyed your character and what you've done this season. But he says that he wants to stay with Huck and Dennis, and then they start to say their goodbyes. And Elton says this, and this is, I don't know if this is ominous, if this is kind of like a last goodbye or something, but we see Elton say to Silas, "We found each other twice before, and we will again." And everyone's doing their hugs, and Iris is thanks him for everything that he's done for it. It's just really kind of a sad moment, and wondering if they're going to see each other again. And yeah, I took a lot of notes in this because there a lot of stuff was going on. But then Will comes into the scene where Felix and Dr. Bennett were fighting the CRM. And then we see Felix take off down a road, and Lieutenant Frank Newton comes after him. And this was one of the coolest scenes that probably in the entire series, both seasons, because we see Felix, he cuts open, there's these walkers behind this gate, and he lets them out. And there's this Darth Maul moment where he takes both of his things, put them together. Made me immediately think of Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars nerd, so seeing that, and I love Darth Maul, but that's just kind of what it made me think of. And you got walkers everywhere. They're killing walkers left and right. It just brought me back to that fight scene with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn, But I digress. But then we come and we see Jadis catches up with Huck, and she's one of the things that Huck says to her. This was a very interesting fight scene, which another brilliant fight scene, and my goodness, Annette Mahendru and Pollyanna McIntosh, freaking brilliant, fucking brilliant. I absolutely adored you guys in this series, but they're fighting, and Huck says to Jada, she's like, her mother lost her way, but you traded someone to get into the CR. Of course, we know who was traded, but then she said, and you gave up someone's life so you can get what you wanted, basically. And Jadis goes to her, I had an A, but then said he was a B, so he didn't end up in your mother's lap. So what does that all mean? Because that's what I don't think we've really learned what a B is. But Jadis did not want Rick to end up in Lieutenant Kubelik's lap, so she didn't want him to learn from her, so she must have other plans for him. And if it's anything indication of what Jadis is right now, what does that mean for Rick? What is a B? These are questions that we need answered. And ultimately Jadis killed Huck, which was really sad. I was kind of hoping to see her, Huck, Annette Mahendru into the Rick Grimes movies, and we did lose Huck, but I would love to see possibly in Tales of the Walking Dead. So if Scott Gimple is watching this, or maybe you're already doing this, but I think she is a phenomenal character who we need more. I'd love to see some more backstory on her. She was a really brilliant character, but then we see also Dennis and Silas, and they're going on their way, and they come across this house. Now, this is where that weapons cache was, where they had, stuff hidden. And there was an interesting picture as they're coming in. You see this family of a man, a woman, and a child. And I wasn't quite sure. Maybe you guys caught on that, but who is that family in the picture? Did they have um, something to do with the story, or was that possibly someone behind the scenes? Because I know a lot of times they do that, kind of like in the Wall of the Lost and The Walking Dead. There's different people there who work behind the scenes of The Walking Dead, and I'm sure there's an Easter egg there. But if you guys know what it is, let me know in the comments. But yeah, losing Huck was devastating. She was definitely one of my favorite characters, without a doubt. And then we see our other group. We got Elton, we got Hope, we got Iris, and they're talking about how we have to hurry up. And then all of a sudden, Indira and Asha are coming behind the way, behind them where these other walkers are coming. They tell them to duck, and they shoot down with the machine gun, and then Hope is about to get bit, and I didn't even see this coming, but Elton jumps ahead of him and basically takes one for Hope and gets his arm bitten, and I was like, oh my god, I Elton is such an that made me sad. I was really getting I really liked him, and but he basically sacrifices himself for Hope, which I thought was kind of, if you look at where he started from where he is now, that he has definitely had a lot of growth. He's become a lot more of a much more stronger, braver character. And then now we're back to Dennis and Silas, and the CRM is approaching, and Dennis is basically saying, I'm not going to make it. And Silas doesn't want, he says, no, we can still do this. And you see Silas, all the emotion, the tears in his eyes. And Dennis is basically saying, just kill me. You have to do it. I can't make it. But you can say that you took me out because I'm a traitor to them. They don't know you. And eventually Silas does kill him. And he gets taken away. Where, let's see. And then we come to a scene where it looks like they're in it says Dolson's. I don't recognize that as anything real, but it looks like sort of some retail shop, maybe a mall or something. And we see Elton, his arms cut off. So at that point, I have some hope that we might still get Elton back. And Iris is talking to her dad and Hope and saying how she needs to go off to Portland to basically warn them. But she says, you have all this right here. You guys need to continue the science so we can help bring back, the world and do what's important. Then we see Jadis with Silas. Now, this was kind of a cool scene in the background. You see the city, and you can see they have wind turbines in the background, which is kind of neat. Gives you an indication of how a lot of their power is coming. But Jadis is a very intelligent character, played brilliantly by Pollyanna McIntosh, and she's basically telling him, like, I know Dennis, put you up to this, but it doesn't matter because the fact that you still did it, and I can see what you may not see it, but I can see what you're going to become, and I will kind of make you my pet project and train you into the CR. You'll go to boot camp, but we're going to move you up real quick. So what does that mean for the Rick Grimes movies? Because I know we'll definitely see Silas again, and I have a feeling he's going to play a major role going forward. Then we see Jadis and Kubelik. And my goodness, Jadis is just ruthless. But we kind of saw that when she was on The Walking Dead. She will do whatever she needs to survive. She's a chameleon. I mean, she's still lying to the CR about her name, which is kind of interesting, which makes me wonder what where her loyalties is. But she clearly is right now with the CR. But I think she's just a chameleon where she does what she needs to do to put her in the best light, and fuck everybody else in between. But So she's talking to Lieutenant Commander Kublik, and you see Kublik. She's showing regret for everything she was involved with to make what happened. She's starting to feel sorrow. Then all of a sudden, Jadis basically blames her for treason, and says that the worse you look, the better I look, and it makes me better within the CR, and makes her move up quicker, and basically she was doing it for power. So Kublik gets arrested. Hux, but this is right after she said she's sorry for her loss, talking about Huck. But I don't think, but of course, she didn't tell her that she killed her. But that was a wild. I was not expect. I guess I should have expected that, because Jadis was. I mean that's Huck's mom, but now we find out that Elton survived. So that made me happy, because I love his character. Nicholas Cantu did that character brilliant. Started from kind of a scared little kid to pretty much a warrior, and then we see a shot of Silas in his CRM gear, and Elton go. We find out that Elton and Asha go with Iris, and they're basically on their way to Portland. And my goodness, that was really a great episode, a great season, a great show. I'm kind of sad that there's only 2 seasons, but it's building up to something bigger. Where is this man right here? We all want to know where he is, but and what is a B? I don't. We still don't know. But now let's get to the juicy part. That post-credit scene, my holy shit. Whoa. Holy fuck. That what we learned in that scene, my response to that is basically the same response I saw when I saw Rick Grimes shoot that little girl, the teddy bear girl. And back in that, it just kind of blew me away. So let's talk about it. So we see this woman come in, and we see, like, I don't know, it looks like a drawer, and there's kind of like a gold ball or something, and she picks up what looks like a vial with measurements that it was broken, and she puts it in there. I'm sure there's going to be some significance to that. So that's something that I want to kind of break down and kind of look back later to figure out what those 2 pieces are and what they mean. But we'll probably learn more, possibly in The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead. But so she is getting all basically taking this information. Looks like she's sending it off somewhere, and storing it in copies. And holy fuck, when we see what she's looking at, it's Dr. fucking Jenner from season 1 back at the CDC. And of course, back then we know that he had mentioned that something happened in France. He wasn't sure, what happened back there. But let's talk about one thing that Dr. Jenner said. So he said he was excited for the use of cardiac plaques to host medium for steroidal therapies to jumpstart the circulatory system, to short circuit the brain, to regain function, to cause nerve confusion. And this gentleman comes in, and he has a gun. He's pointed at her, and he's asking her, various questions like, where were you? Where is the Primrose team? I don't know quite yet what the Primrose team is, but one thing that was interesting is she said they were in Ohio. Now, I live in Ohio, but why is Ohio important to the Walking Dead universe? Well, in the comics, the Commonwealth is in Ohio. Now, granted, in the show, we have not. They weren't technically in Ohio, but do we really know the location of the Commonwealth? We know that they went off to where they initially went, but that could be like meeting places where they go and take people, and maybe the Commonwealth will still be in Ohio. But I do find that interesting that whatever this Primrose team is in Ohio, and we in the Walking Dead in the Walking Dead we know that that's where the Commonwealth is. So that kind of jumped to me right there. And he mentioned like when we find them, we won't kill them. Where they're not going to come back like you. And I didn't realize what he was talking about, but so he shoots her, and then all of a sudden she reanimates just like any normal walker does. But then all of a sudden she gets aggressive, and she runs towards the door, and she's pounding on the like. This is not your normal walker. So clearly something happened, something with that vial, something possibly with what Dr. Jenner is talking about with this use of cardiac plaques. Is this something that they were working on over in France that is going to create these crazy World War Z type zombies? But shit just got real, is all I can say about that. And wherever Rick is, whatever he's doing, damn, I miss Rick Grimes. Andrew Lincoln, who we just found out that has been in America recently at a New York Knicks game. So, like I said, shit's about to get real. But we need to break down that scene again. And I'm gonna watch that in a couple days and see if I can pick up anything, be it noises, kind of go back over the what they're talking about. And I'm kind of like, I was trying to listen to what Dr. Jenner was saying in the background when the woman and the man were talking, but it was kind of too low. But if anyone else heard it, that's something that I'd like to listen to myself. But holy shit. But yeah, this shit's about to get real. Love World Beyond. I'm sad that it's over. And just like any review, I definitely give a shout out to my friends. This is going to Linda Peck Evans, and she is an amazing Walking Dead artist. You have got to check out her artwork. This one that she did of Mercer, my goodness, Victor Strand, and many more. Check out her Ko-fi. Maybe buy a print from her. Take a look at her pages. I promise you are going to be amazed, and you're going to love what you see. Of course, her links are, as always, I'm going to put in the description. Thank you for watching me. Love you guys.